Live?
We are live. They could hear me, and now they can hear you.
Master Chief comes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, you always want to get that in the first 30 seconds so that the YouTube demonetization app really comes at you. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna come.
Is that you or Christian doing that? Grow up.
It's Christian.
Come.
God damn it.
Is that why you're here? Is that the reason you're here?
Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
I
You're fun.
I want to get a clean one. Go ahead and do it now.
I'm gonna come.
God damn it.
You'll never catch me doing anything like that.
All right. I have stream elements. I just got to log in. You log into the YouTube side. I have the rundown here. Mike, I think I'm probably ready to go. Let's check the audio.
How's like? Do you fix the screen?
I hear that.
They couldn't hear it though.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start.
All right, there we go. All right.
You have to
How is
tweet.
the layout though? You had the layout?
Let's check it. Let's check it. I kind of messed it with it a little bit before Mike was sitting
No, it's
down,
fine.
so now we got to adjust it. Now the mic's here.
What?
Well, Mike is very particular.
Oh,
you know?
Mike's always wants to be higher than you. Yeah. That's
No,
right.
I want to be
I'm
even.
gonna come.
Wants to be. God damn it! Where is that from? When did I say this?
I don't know. I saw somebody tweeting it at you, and I just
Yeah.
stole the sound from
Are
it.
you losing frames already? Or is that me going being crazy?
Oh, that's me. Okay, I'm losing frames already. We might as well fix this before the show starts.
Yeah, just restart them. I don't know. Or like.
See.
How many more shows are we doing from your current house? Like,
Let's see. 1, 2, maybe after this. Maybe like
wow.
this might be the second to the last Nintendogs that we're gonna do
Oh, yeah.
here.
Enjoy it, people.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
All right. I think it's working.
It's just, what if we just like, what if I just record everything and cut you and like have like a gigantic soundboard?
Well, I think at a certain
Just your
point,
voice.
instead of that, if you're recording everything, you might as well just feed it to an AI and rebuild
You
my
saw-
voice.
Yo,
you could turn me into Luke Skywalker.
Do you saw that AI that does that with like just regular like sounds from your phone? It's fucked
Oh
up.
no, I haven't. It's like they
Oh,
used
I seen
re-speech
a
for Luke
TikTok.
Skywalker, and so it's like that's why he sounds like a robot in that movie in that show.
Oh, they did that? That's
Yeah, they did that.
I didn't turn my light on.
All right, I think we're ready. Christian,
Okay,
one
have
more
fun.
time, and then hit the road.
I'm gonna come.
Cool.
Master Chief comes.
All right. Mike. All right. Wait, I didn't tweet because I was fixing the other thing. All right, I guess I'll do that now. Copy video URL. All right. I am gonna count down. Let me get chat back up. I'm gonna count down. I am going to then hit record, and then I'm gonna hit the Wario button. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Mike Minotti, are you ready?
Yes.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog,
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
and we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, what consoles do we want to see on NSO? What is a bloober team, and what are they bloobing? And Sony is doing stuff. Is it better than what we have on NSO? I'm trying to make these things tie into Nintendo. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. My daughter, I forgot to get her glasses, so we could turn around, and I had to come back home and get them. And so I was a little bit late getting the show started, but now the other girl is asleep upstairs, and that's nice. She had school this morning. She's almost graduated from preschool 1. Like, she's in like early preschool. She's going to be in preschool again next year, so I suppose she's not really graduating, as she's getting a certificate. And that's what the teacher told me. Like, even though I was very insistent that they have a graduation party, because I'm one of those parents, they were like, no, we're calling the police. Jeff, get out of here. We're not having a graduation. We're not having a graduation party for this 3-year-old. So, oh well.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. All right, Jeff. Well, why don't we just get into some of this stuff here? I guess there's a couple big stories here that are maybe tangentially, if not at all, related to Nintendo, but we should still talk about them. We'll find a way to make it work. What the hell? You talked about these Silent Hill rumors a little bit, I think even on Friday. And now they've really been making the rounds.
Yep.
Yeah, recap here. Bloober Team is making a Silent Hill 2 remake, is a rumor. And then Pride Vision would be making a smaller Silent Hill game, but there's also a new like mainline game in pre-production. Jeff, I am seeing people just freaking out about Bloober Team making a Silent Hill 2 remake. People have very strong opinions about this. Now, I know that you are the world's biggest The Medium fan, so why don't you tell me why it's good and or bad if Bloober Team is doing this project?
Yeah, you know, I all my Medium clothes are at the cleaner right now, so I'm wearing my my rare.
They all say
racer
5 out of
shirt
5 on them.
Yes, exactly. And then it says equals 100 on Metacritic, just so everyone understands. I think that people can take a deep breath here. Is my basic understanding is Bloober Team is doing a Silent Hill 2 remake. But the marching orders that they are getting are to make this as like close to the original, just make it a really faithful reimagining of that first game, and just do the stuff that's already there and make it more modern. And that's sort of like the things that Bloober were good at in the Medium, even though I haven't played it and haven't actually even installed. I think I did install it and then I uninstalled it without ever playing it. The technology seemed good. Like, that's the thing that everyone seemed pretty impressed at. It looked good. It was taking advantage of the new generation hardware and stuff like that. It's the kind of team that maybe could, if they're not so worried about coming up with their own like horror game ideas, maybe take someone else's and adapt them to a modern, for modern consoles. I think for the most part, this is going to be just fine. And here's the good news. If this Silent Hill game isn't for you, they have a lot more in the works. Like, I think IGN and a few others, VGC, have said there's 3 in the works. I think there's 4 in the works. The 4th one's probably nothing major. Like, don't get your hopes.
It's the Kojima one, isn't it?
They're all the Kojima one, Mike. Listen to the internet for once.
Yeah. I can't. I'm busy. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking when everyone was sort of freaking out about this. I mean, everyone seems to have a problem with the Medium's writing. I never played the Medium. I really know nothing about it, except everybody thought that you reviewed it when you never played it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it's a remake of Silent Hill 2, and you know, I know sometimes we have remakes that are really different, but that's not the norm often. The norm is much more like the Demon Souls remake or the Shadow of the Colossus remake. And it seems like that's the direction that they are probably going to. It's more of a, I mean, not that there's still not artistry involved with an artistic one as opposed to making a game from scratch, right?
Yes, that's what it seems like. It is.
What happened?
We're still good. We're still live, although now I'm losing bits. All right, hang on. Let's pause. Mike, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, hang on. Sorry.
I just saw the thing going.
Yeah, we just, we're losing all the frames again. All right, hang on. God damn it. Well, hang on. I got an idea. Let me reset this. If you guys could hear us, we'll usually gets fixed pretty quick once I do this just major reset. I didn't want to have to do a major reset, but I'm going to do one. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, we should be much better now, and I believe the stream is back up as well. I'm going to unpause and we'll continue. Mike, I think you were about to say something about Silent Hill. Is that okay? Oh, no.
Yes.
Nope. No, we got another delay. Let's switch our thing on Discord while we're at it.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong thing. Hang on. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. I'm gonna count down, and we'll get right back into it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Mike. So yes, there's a lot of Silent Hill games in the works. People should be. It seems like I'll probably talk about this more on Grubb's next. I've been trying to gather up more stuff. There's some things I can't talk about, but there's other things I kind of can. I think that Annapurna rumor. I think VGC was right to say that it was not sure if it could nail that down about what's exactly happening with Annapurna and Silent Hill. Like they might have just been in the running and might not have actually gotten it. But I do think Konami's purpose here is to have a big blowout reintroduction of Silent Hill. And it does seem like Sony's pretty involved with that. But beyond that, I don't know. When do you think we start hearing about these things?
Oh, this E3 might be a little early. I don't know. It would depend. I guess my question to you say Sony's really involved. So we're not going to be seeing any of this Silent Hill stuff on Nintendo in most likelihoods.
I think that's the most likely scenario, yeah. Maybe it's the kind of thing where after a year... they say, okay, sure, we published this for you, or we helped you publish this, and maybe some of these games can go elsewhere. But I think like Silent Hill 5 is probably just going to be a PlayStation game for a long time, although that game's pretty far off. And then you say like this E3 might be a bit early. I think these were the games they were going to talk about at last E3.
That's fair. Yeah, they did. That's right. There was like going to be something from Konami at last E3, and then it didn't happen. Now, do you think it's literally a Silent Hill blowout, or is it just here is the Silent Hill 2 remake? And,
yes.
We're not going to say anything about the other ones, or is it that and then like a logo reveal for Silent Hill 5, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's something along those lines, and then they say like tune back in later, like this October. And then they talk about their larger plans for Silent Hill. That could totally happen, yeah. But they seem to have broad scale plans for Silent Hill. So fans of this series who are always asking for more, your wish seems like it's gonna come true. And now you get to move from being having anxiety about it ever coming back, and now your anxiety could be about, is it gonna be any good? Which, it's a different anxiety.
Oh, maybe back like when Silent Hill was like a thing, it didn't have the greatest batting record in the world, right?
That's right. I mean, there was like the ones I always hear is like Silent Hill 2 and the Way Forward game were pretty good, and then
people like Silent Hill 1 fine.
Okay,
there's some 3 defenders, I think, but like 2's the one people bring up the most.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't played any of them, so I don't know.
All right then, Jeff, let's move on to the next story, which is maybe only tangentially related to Nintendo here, but Sony has announced some details about that new PlayStation Plus finally. This includes some info on some of the games coming there, a lot of PlayStation 4 games, a handful of classic games announced right now, PlayStation 1, just like I think there's only really one PSP game even announced. Some more games like from those older eras, like coming in from bundles, including like PlayStation 2 era stuff. So it's like the PlayStation like 4 remasters or re-releases that we already had of some of those games, like the Jack and Daxter stuff, for example, like that. Have you looked at this, Jeff? What do you think about all this? We also have Ubisoft, which I should throw in there.
Yeah, I have looked at this, and I did a Control F for Einhander. That's not on there, so that's a bad start. Like this is like initial stuff. It's going to grow even by the time this comes around to like launching here, right?
Yeah, and this says it's not supposed to be a full list anyway, so like this is probably going to grow, and they also said there's going to be regular updates also. So
okay.
Yeah, so it's hard. I mean, there's stuff here that I'm already pretty interested in, like Dark Cloud 2 is a game people seem to love that I never got to play, so that's exciting. It's not, I said, I want to be absolutely blown away with just the absolute amount of PlayStation 1 games. This isn't that, at least yet. Again, it's not super clear how much more is coming from this. But if there are regular updates, not just one game a month like we get with Nintendo 64, maybe that'll be fine enough.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit annoyed that Metal Gear Solid like 4 and stuff like that isn't mentioned here. That stuff is like got delisted a few months back, right, from PlayStation Network,
right?
And I'm like, my thought was, well, it'll just come back once they figure out this new PlayStation Plus thing. Maybe it still does. Maybe that is like the kind of thing you announce at if you do have a showcase, later this year. You make a big deal out of it. The Metal Gear games are back and stuff like that. And if they're working with Konami on something like Silent Hill, they could, manufacture something like that. But right now it's like, okay, still no Metal Gear games coming back, and I don't know. And it does seem like they're also holding back a lot of games that might get remastered. Were there like those early Sucker Punch games? What am I thinking?
What I mean, Sly Cooper is like one of the mascot guys that's not on here. We see Jack and Daxter, and we see
Right. Okay.
and a lot of the Ratchet and Clanks are actually showing up more so in the PlayStation 3 streaming thing, which we'll see how that works. They are saying for some of these classic games, like the PlayStation 1 stuff, that some of them might have improved frame rates and higher quality resolutions than compared to the originals. That would be kind of neat. Of course, it's very nebulous. They're saying some will. Well, which some? Why only some? Why not? Who knows? So it's still very much, I think, we're going to have to wait and see what this really looks like. And we're not going to have to wait too much longer.
But I think this is a good deal for a lot of people in games. Like if you got a PlayStation 5 and you are already paying $10 a month for PlayStation Plus, you get an extra $5 a month and you get Guardians of the Galaxy and you get Hollow Knight, Mike. That's pretty good.
That's right. Yeah, actually the list of just like some of these like PlayStation 4 games is pretty freaking good. Basically every important PlayStation 4 game is on here.
Yeah,
really.
And that's even fantastic.
Yeah, Gravity Rush 2. So yeah, that alone does look pretty nice. And honestly, like I don't know, like individually, maybe I'd be like, oh, that's not a lot of PlayStation 1 games, or I don't know about the cloud gaming. You look at all this together, including with that Ubisoft Plus classic stuff. So basically, there's just also a lot of kind of Ubisoft games from that PlayStation 4 era on here too, maybe even some newer ones. And this looks pretty nice. This doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah, and was it Infamous? Yeah, Infamous is on there. So yes, so that is the Sucker Punch was not the one I was thinking of. Mike helped me out there. Yeah, okay, I don't know. To me, yeah, good deal. I think while I might have played a lot of the games on these lists that I wanted to play and probably own them in some form, that is not everyone who buys a new console, which is why Game Pass has made sense when people pick up Xbox and get Game Pass. When you pick up a PlayStation 5, this is going to just make sense in the same exact way for the most part. To me, it's like this thing stands on its own even without the day one games. Now, maybe that would get more people to subscribe, but those games are selling just fine, so you don't need to put them in there. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
Is it making getting Kirby 64 as like our one new NSO game of the month on May 20th? Is that looking pretty breadcrumby there, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been breadcrumby, hasn't it? We've always just accepted it because, well, I mean, we've complained a lot about it, especially when this obvious N64 one game a month strategy started. We were like, this is what they're going to do, isn't it? They're just going to do one per month, and it's exactly what they did. And it continued. Yeah, it definitely feels breadcrumby. It definitely feels like they think that their old N64 games are a bigger deal than what they are. And yet I'm still subscribed, and when my subscription comes up again next year, I'm still going to subscribe. It's still fun to partake in this stuff, and it's actually not that expensive, even at $50 per year.
Like Kirby 64 is a fine game, but it is ridiculous to act like it's that big a deal where it's the one game they can add in a month here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And it's weird because it's like they're acting like they really need to dole this stuff out, and they still have so many more consoles that they can go through. And at a point, look, if you've released everything, then you've released everything. Doesn't mean you need to make sure that you don't get to that point. Right,
exactly. You don't want to artificially delay it, and yet Nintendo definitely seems that's exactly what they want to do, is artificially delay it.
So hey, our own Dean Takahashi actually had an interview with Reggie, whose name I'm always afraid to say now because I was mocked the one time I couldn't say it right.
Fisa May? Is that
Fisa
how?
May?
Is that
I think I said Fisa Me instead of Fisa May, and I felt awful.
That accent mark, man, gets you every time.
Biggest noob in the world. But yes, Dean talked to Reggie. It was this big interview. It's worth checking out on GamesBeat.com. Funnily enough, he asked us for questions. The one question I told him to ask him was, why did Nintendo abandon F-Zero? And this was the one that everybody picked up on. I did think Dean was literally going to ask him, why did you abandon F-Zero? But he sure did.
I don't know what you expected, though. It's like you just like feed Dean the question. He's just going to spout it back out. That's incredible.
Here's what Reggie said. Why was F-Zero abandoned? The insight I would share is that, at least during my tenure, the Nintendo developers were always experimenting with different gameplay styles, always thinking about where a unique experience could be applied back, either to an existing franchise or maybe creating a new franchise. My bet is that somewhere in the Kyoto development centers, some developers playing around with an idea that might be applied to F-Zero. It's never a situation, at least in my experience, where the company makes a conscious decision not to continue supporting X, Y, or Z franchise. Historically, just hasn't worked that way. Not when I was there. So, Jeff, this is kind of what we have always heard. They just don't have a good enough idea for the next F-Zero. And me and you have always said that's bullshit. Like, they always just like make a new Mario Tennis game for whatever platform that they have, right? Or what have you. It's like, and if the series is important enough to them, they will make sure there is at least one new game for each system. And I'm not saying that I expect them to release an F-Zero game every 5 years, but it is crazy that we are on this long of a break from that franchise. They absolutely can just make a new F-Zero.
Yeah, and I think that it's bound to still happen, and I think it probably won't be all that different from the older F-Zeros when it's all said and done. But maybe they just really got in their head about this one, about like, hey, F-Zero it's not like growing, so if we're gonna bring it back, we do have to do something new, and now they're stuck on that. And it's like, really, just at this point, the thing that could be new is maybe some visual flair, like the way Mario Strikers looks. Like, add that level of visual flair to it, so that when you're driving around, it is like you see the gravity or whatever, you see the friction, and it's visualized. Like, just do that, and then make everything else 60 frames per second and stuff like that. Or, you know, Switch 2 can have a 120 hertz screen, and it could be the 120 hertz game. There you go. There's your something new for F-Zero.
Jeff, we had the Q&A from Nintendo's recent earnings call with investors translated. The kind of most interesting thing here was this sort of quote from Satoru Furukawa, where he's sort of talking about they're concerned about transitioning from the Switch to its successor. And he says, our major concern is whether we will be able to smoothly transition from one generation to the next when new hardware is released in the future. Looking back on our experience with previous hardware generations, such as the Wii and Nintendo DS, we recognize that this is one of our challenges. Jeff, he's right. It is one of their challenges. They are often really bad at following up super successful consoles. And at least they are aware of it. But it is still weird because in all those cases, it's pretty obvious what the problem was. The 3DS was horribly overpriced, and the Wii U was just very poorly marketed and named. So do you think they are going to have those problems again with the Switch 2?
I mean, I don't know, not necessarily. And there was some update. Was that the updated quote directly from Nintendo about that? Because I know there was a little bit of a hullabaloo about the quote or the translation not being exact when people said when they said they were concerned. I'll say real quick. I'll read this. This is Nintendo's own official translation. On the other hand, looking back on the past experiences of generational change, such as the change from the Wii and the Nintendo DS eras, we recognize that one of our tasks is ensuring the transition to future generations of hardware is as smooth as possible. To that end, we are focusing on building long-term relationships with our consumers through Nintendo accounts. And then while continuing to release new Nintendo Switch software for consumers to enjoy, we aim to maintain relationships across hardware generations through services that utilize Nintendo accounts and by providing opportunities for them to experience our IP through other non-gaming channels. Either way, though, like
it's kind of that point, but it sounds like it's more framed around this kind of continuation of that account that you have built up on the Switch is still going to be your account going forward.
It sounds like they sort of tacitly acknowledge the idea of a concern about a transition, but that is like baked into moving from one generation to the other. Like, everyone's always understood that it's hard to bring the entire audience with you to the next thing. And it's why they are putting out Nintendo accounts, because that is the kind of thing that has worked really well for Sony, and Sony has had its best transition ever because its services continue to make a lot of money. So that is basically Nintendo said, we're going to do what Sony has done to avoid having these massive drops in revenue from one generation to the next. And I suppose this is a sign that maybe they really are going to think about backwards compatibility and all this stuff, and things are just going to keep working going forward, because what good is a Nintendo account if there isn't consistency from one system to the other?
Right. Yeah. I think we all are definitely hoping that it'll be honestly pretty bonkers if backwards compatibility isn't a major part of the Switch 2. That'll be a giant red flag right there. And it seems it's just going to be the same subscription we're paying for Nintendo Switch Online. It'll still be Nintendo Switch Online when the Switch 2 comes out. We're not going to have to get off that and get on some new thing, right? There's going to be some continuity there.
Exactly, and that's valuable to both us, and it seems like it's valuable to Nintendo. That continuity is something that in the past Nintendo would have been like that's not worth the effort to us. But now they've seen other companies do it and succeed and make a lot of money by doing exactly that. So I think we can expect more of that continuity.
Jeff, last thing here from Nintendo or from Capcom's actually recent earnings that Monster Hunter Rise has now sold 9 million copies. This does include PC and Switch versions, and the franchise sales have exceeded 80 million for Monster Hunter. So that's almost an eighth, a bit less than that from just this one game. And there have been a lot of entries in that series, and we have that Sunrise expansion coming out at the end of June, I believe. Mm-hmm. So things are going well for Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, it's not too surprising. It's the kind of thing where the game was doing well. You put it on PC, it's doing even better. And I've heard a lot of people going back to Monster Hunter Rise recently. So I think people are just getting ready for that expansion, and it's gonna just keep selling at that point too.
Well, it's that, and we talked about before. This is just a slow month for everybody.
Yeah,
for all of the consoles really. So aside from that glorious Mario Strikers, when's that coming out exactly again? How soon is that?
Mario Strikers?
Yeah. You named the show after it. You should know when it's coming out. Well,
listen, I kind of keep looking forward to keep things so I have a reason to live, Mike. Mario Strikers release date.
If you're looking that forward to it, if it's your point to living, I feel like you should know the release date.
November 18th, 2005. That doesn't sound right.
God damn it, Jeff.
June 10th. Wow, that's fast. We're gonna be there in no time.
Yeah, we'll be there.
That's right in the middle of E3 too. So we're gonna have something to play like when we're doing like stuff. So that's fun. All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Jeff, we're killing it today.
Yeah, we do good shows. I think personally.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff.
Also, people who are like worried about frames, my thing says 0 drop frames, so it's probably on YouTube side. Try refreshing if you need to.
What happened again? Yeah, I think we're good now. I haven't seen anything. All right. Jeff, let's get into these questions. If you're watching, you can send a question. We already got some super chats. Some of them from one of our favorite viewers. Although I don't know, it could be anybody. His name's not Xbot Killer this time.
It's Ghost Sniper
again. But yes, do that. Also, please do like the show if you're watching live. It'll help more people find the show, and we will appreciate that. Let's get into the questions from our Discord community, though. Dr. Turbo Sus asks, which Nintendo franchise has the most over-designed characters, and why is it Xenoblade Chronicles? And the first one wasn't too bad. Jeff, did you see like that little clip from like some gameplay showcase? It's like 5 seconds of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in action, and like there's like 6 characters, and they're all just screaming their like their British dubbed lines over top of each other, and the HUD is just absolutely out of control. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this. No.
Oh, I need to find this for you. You might need to watch this like
so. Someone find it, and put it in chat, and I'll put it on the show. We'll watch it. We will live react.
I think Stealth was the one who first posted. I found it already. I'm a hero.
Okay. Where are you gonna send it to me?
I'm gonna send this to you on Discord right now.
All right.
If I can. There you go. Look, I'll send it to you. Now make sure you've lowered your volume because it's already obnoxious. That's the joke. So we don't need it to be blasting out.
All right.
It's one like I get it. Like I don't want to be too rough on the game for its like ridiculous UI because it's a JRPG. It's gonna have a busy UI. Usually when you're actually playing these games, they don't bother you as much. But watching it out of context, it's funny. It looks like a mess. It just does.
Okay, it's coming up in a second. Just vamp while I get it situated here.
I was vamping. I don't know if it's man, I'm trying to think now. Is there another Nintendo franchise that has more over-designed characters than Xenoblade? I mean, sometimes it's not necessarily that they're some of them are over-designed. A lot of the monsters that you got into, or whatever they call them, blades, were over-designed. A lot of times they're just designed poorly, though, or excessively, I guess you could say. Like the Ice Queen bear blade that you got with the ridiculous chest. I don't know if she's over-designed as much as she's just horrifying.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think Whoa. Okay. Nope. That was bad. Hang on. That was the wrong audio. We don't want that. We want it to be. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's just broken. Let me see this one right here. That'll be it. Okay. Properties. And then I'm gonna set it to speakers. Okay. I think this should be good, and it might be loud, but everyone, just brace yourself.
You might want to hang back. You might want to hang back.
What is going on?
They're just all. I mean,
Okay,
it's funny
Jesus.
because the Xenoblade games have always just done this, where the characters for some reason have all these voice lines that they say during battle, and they're like, there's not that many of them, and they aren't just like us or attack or look out. It's like long things like, "Ha! I think that I'm the best fighter, actually." And like these sentences, and they're all talking over each other, on top with all the other things going on. It is just weird that it's like, yes, we'll keep doing that.
Is there like a gruff guy that goes, "I'm gonna put my foot in your butt"? Like something like that.
They're all
That'd be great.
British. None of them, they all sound like boys, or they all kind of sound like children.
I'm
Except
not
for
gonna let
maybe
you get
one
me.
guy.
I'm gonna get you every time I
Yeah.
attack. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's one of those things. So it's weird. It's weird. It's ride time. Yeah, even Xenoblade Chronicles 1 did this shit to people over. But like this game, I think has 6 party members going at once, so it's gonna just be really out of control. I'm a little concerned. We'll see.
I'm a little lad who likes sugar and cream. What does he say? I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. Yeah, there we
Who
go.
says that?
Okay, well, I'll bring that up because apparently you've never seen the berries and cream boy. What is wrong
What the hell
with
are
you?
you talking about?
You've
Oh,
never seen-
yes, let's bring up another video because we got the last one up and running so smoothly.
Well, now
and
it's set
quickly.
up. Now, well, actually, no, I did.
Now we can do it all day
No,
long.
I did mess it up again. I mean,
Moving on.
yeah, moving on. All right. Yep, fine.
Diogo RP says, hello, Nintendogs. Not a question per se, but a tale to share. This podcast has made me obsessed with...
Here it is, everybody. Berries and cream boy.
Oh, this weirdo. Yeah, I don't like this.
When I was a little lad, if I wanted berries
This
and
is what I
cream,
look like when I
Mummy made me
shave.
do the little lad dance. Now Mummy's gone.
This guy does
But I
not
still
like
like
this
to do
anymore,
the little
apparently.
lad dance, and you might too.
What do you mean?
You just
The guy that did this character, he's like a
Run in
performance
place.
artist, and now he hates it.
nice form,
Because is it resent? Is it the
Clap
only
your
thing he ever did that was
hands.
popular and now he
Yeah, I think
resents
so.
it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
elegant.
Well, hey.
Touch
All
your
right,
left
okay.
heel
I'll
with
be
your
super
right,
famous
and your right heel
podcasters
with
like
your
us.
lad who loves berries and cream.
All right, turn it off.
All right, little berry boy. Bye. I'll miss you so much.
Oh, I thought you were calling me a little berry boy, and I was about to get into a fight with you.
Well, now I know your weak point. All right. Okay, Mike. I'm
Diogo
sorry. Go ahead.
RP continues. This podcast has made me obsessed with what Arby's tastes like. Problem is sunny Portugal, where I'm from, we have a lot of great food, but regrettably, no Arby's. Thankfully, I'll be traveling to the U.S. later down the year, so I'm hoping to finally get a bite. My obsession has caused noticeable confusion to my partner who lived in the U.S. for 15 years, who, along with some American friends, are adamant to tell me Arby's is not that good. I don't know who to trust anymore. Can you kindly abuse your position as beef and cheddar ambassadors to mandate mass openings of Arby's across Europe? Man, we should do that.
Yeah.
Your friend is just wrong. Your friend's not purposely lying to you,
Right.
but it was a joke, especially in the 2000s, that Arby's was bad.
Yes.
It wasn't based on anything. I think
It
Jon
was
Stewart made a lot
Jon
of
Stewart
jokes.
like even admitted, he's like, we don't even know why we did it. We don't know why we picked Arby's. But like every time we need to make fun of a fast food restaurant that's gonna like make you sick or something like that, we just did Arby's, and then that became the joke that they were always just picking on Arby's.
I mean, there's something inherently funny about Arby's.
Yes.
I agree. Because
Yes.
it is like every other fast food place, like burgers or maybe chicken fingers. Here's this one that's like roast beef sandwiches. You know? And that's what's beautiful about
Yep.
it.
There's a
But
video.
no.
There's a video of podcasters who always talk shit about Arby's finally trying Arby's, and they're like, "Does this slap? This slaps!" And so I'll send that video to your partner,
it's
and
great.
they'll be like, "Okay, maybe I was just indoctrinated by the media."
Mm-hmm. Yes, which happens all the time. Hosp says, "Hey yo, hot dogs! If Nintendo decides to do another Game & Watch release, what do you think it would be? Pokemon Gen 1 seems like it would print money, but wireless trading / battling sounds like too much work. I mean, could it be that hard if you just did Pokemon Red and Blue or Yellow in a Game & Watch and just put a little RF adapter or whatever it is to do
Yeah.
that, like the Game Boy One style trading, but wireless. Would that be too difficult?
No. They had the wireless IR reader on Game Boy Color, right? So that stuff was something they understood pretty early on. So, but those games would be pretty easy to adapt to that. I think the next one will be like a Kirby collection, a bunch of Kirby games. Although, no, the next one's probably Pokemon. But then after that, it's probably Kirby.
Yeah, Pokemon makes a lot of sense. Kirby would be great because you do have a good NES game you can also put on there. So you get Adventure, Dreamland 1 and 2. You could throw Kirby Pinball on there. That would actually slap. That would be great.
Yes, it would.
I wish Metroid was popular enough to get one, because one with just Metroid 1 and 2 on there, that would be pretty cool. But I don't think they're going to give Metroid the Game & Watch treatment. Kirby or Pokemon seem to make sense.
Hey, real quick, George says he's about 3 minutes behind and wants to know what the fuck is happening. George, once you get to this point, I promise you could just skip forward. We're going to waste the next 3 minutes of your life. I promise.
No, it was all very useful. Can a bitch get a donut? Says.
Okay, I'm back. I'm
what
back.
A
I'm sorry.
name.
Yep.
Excuse me, Jeff. I'm trying to read. Can a bitch get a
I read
donut?
it before too,
question.
but just the way you said it got me.
Ahoy, Nintendogs! May is halfway done, and June is slowly but surely creeping closer. What do you wish to see during Nintendo's Naughty 3 stream, and what do you think they'll show? I want them to finally announce some of these, some of this not the most exciting stuff in the world stuff, like these Wii U ports and remasters we've been waiting for. I just want them to say, yes, they're real and they're coming.
Yeah.
I want to see Wind Waker. I want to see Metroid Prime. Just say that that's happening so we can kind of move on from that.
I think it's a good year for that. That's because, like...
It's a very good year for that.
Because you have not released Zelda yet. You've not released Metroid Prime 4 yet. So are you ready to make big promises again? I hope not. You don't have to come out and make big promises again. Like, we don't have to get the next Mario announced now if it's still going to be a ways off. Like, please don't do that. Instead, just focus on focus what you can do this year, especially if this year is stuff like, the Zelda collection from the Wii U HD ports and Metroid Prime 4, or I'm sorry, Metroid Prime Remake. If it's that stuff, then we're good. Let's just do that.
I mean, I can see the email right now. It's going to say, join us for a Nintendo Direct focusing on games coming to the Switch in the latter half of the year.
Yep.
And that's what it'll be. It'll be about, about your Splatoons and your Xenoblade and Fire and that kind of stuff. But again, they're not going to have maybe these earth-shattering 2023 games to announce, because we still have to even get Zelda out there. Maybe it's not quite time to do that yet. They'll maybe announce one, because you want to have one big announcement. But otherwise, you can fill out, if you need exciting things to announce, you can finally show off some of these remasters.
Agreed.
So I hope that answers your question, and I hope you get a donut. Lostian says, hey guys, hope your weekend was a refreshing one. With Ubisoft Plus Classics being included into PlayStation Plus Extra/Premium, who would you like to see launch a new subscription service and bundle it with NSO? P.S. This came to me while watching. If Sony is involved in Silent Hill, could Bluepoint be the ones working on one of those games? Since they are top tier in the remake category. Once again, probably not. I mean, if Bluepoint was going to do something, it would be the Silent Hill 2 remake. And we think that it's Blooper who's doing that, not Bluepoint.
Yeah, I really have no idea what Bluepoint's working on. Sorry, everybody. I wish I knew, but I have no idea.
Cody Rhodes was asking if the Metal Gear Solid remake rumors are true. I saw on Twitter.
I should just go say yes. I should just go say
yes. Just go tell him yes.
Yes, this is only for you. Yeah.
I think, gosh, I don't know. Who else is even left that has enough games to really make another subscription service at this point? Like, Capcom can't really be like, here's Capcom Plus.
They could probably do Monster Hunter Plus, but I don't know how much. I mean, those fans probably would be a little bit into that because Monster Hunter has such a long tail and people play it for forever. And maybe if you're just aiming at those people, maybe you can make it valuable. But people tend to, even people like who are into GTA Online, really don't like GTA Plus. So that's the kind of thing these other companies can do, is like these game specific subscriptions. I don't think there's not going to be many more publisher wide subscriptions.
SNK Plus. We'll just get all the SNK games.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that'll be on NSO. There you go. Instead of having like a Neo Geo section, like app for Neo Geo games like we have with Genesis, we'll have that. Bench JC says, hey dogs, if you two met for the first time, what would your first opinion be on the other's appearance? I would think Mike has an obsession with My Little Pony, and Jeff probably loves camping and is a mountain man type of person. I mean, I'm sure everybody looks at Jeff, thinks about his hair first, and wonders if he like what kind of weird, like degenerate sport he's into.
Mm-hmm.
But I would assume
High is what I'm into. So
Highlight, super highlight.
Highlight. It's Jaialai. It's a sport you play with the scoop and you throw it against the wall.
I know you're talking about.
I figured we'd get there eventually. That is the degenerate sport I'm into.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely thought you were talking about Highlight, the bad games.
Yes.
Actually, I think the first ones were okay. The Saturn Super Highlight, whatever, is awful. Jeff, what would you think about me based only on my appearance?
Hentai.
Yeah, fair. Pennywise says, Happy Tuesday, Nintendogs. Thanks so much for the Metroidvania advice. Jeff, I went ahead and snagged Yoku's Island Express, and apparently it is actually free this month for Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah,
First
get it.
time that service has a solid game in a long time. Mike, I promise one day this year I will find in my heart to really give Hollow Knight the old college try. Question this week is, what game would you like to see as a 3D Metroidvania? I feel like Arkham Asylum hit gold, and we really haven't seen it since. Personally, since I've been playing Prince of Persia 2008, incredible and criminally underrated game, by the way, I think that the Prince of Persia series would be awesome for a 3D
That would be
Metroid-like adventure. This would be a cool way to differentiate it from the Assassin's Creed games that have taken over, other than trying to chase an open-world design. For Nintendo, maybe we could get a 3D Donkey Kong game in that style. Maybe you slowly find verses from that old Donkey Kong 64 rep that lets you access new areas. That's funny. I would like to see like maybe a 3D Donald Duck game. So basically, I want a 3D version of Quackshot, I guess is what I'm saying. That would be fantastic. And also completely unrealistic and probably never going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a great answer. I think like maybe if they do the new Tomb Raider, I suppose they would want it to be bigger than this. But I think a Tomb Raider game built in like one giant tomb that is a giant Metroidvania style 3D adventure would be cool. They probably are not. Cool. They're not going to do that, but it would be cool.
They're going to just do open world again, but that would be cool. Turbo Sean says, Happy Tuesday to my fellow Halo Infinite champions. Hey, that's right, Jeff. We did. Right. We really, actually, that's right. So because I had to leave early.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, I mean, so you did very well in your Fiesta match. I saw those. You had a couple of triple kills there.
Yep.
Very impressive.
Let's get to it though.
What happened in the big team battle? Did you?
Nope, I didn't get a single kill.
Did you?
Well,
How does that happen?
No, there was multiple big team battle matches. There was another one where I did very well, and I had like almost the most kills on our team. But in the first one, just completely blanked. It was it doesn't mean I wasn't getting to the action. I died a lot of times. Don't worry about that. That definitely happened. But I think I just got into like one of my bad grooves where it's like I'm running and then I run into somebody and I've been running for so long. I'm just like, it takes my brain a second to kick in the fact that, I'm playing Halo. I have to start shooting. And I just got into a bad groove and I got like close to getting a kill one time. And then it didn't happen. It was bad. It was a bad match. It was bad.
And it was the only match that we lost. We lost by 1 point, huh?
If I would have got a single kill, we would have won.
Well, Jeff, I'll make fun of you a little bit, but I won't be too hard on you for that.
Well, yeah, listen, we did fine overall.
Mostly because we did very well. Mostly because my team got us off to the right start. Because we destroyed.
Yes, you guys doubled them. You guys lapped them basically.
50
to 25.
It was at first I was like worried because they were doing a really good job of sticking together, which turned out to be their downfall.
Yes, that was not a good strategy.
It was easy to throw granades and kill them.
Yeah, I got what they were going for, but they did not change it up. I mean, they tried. I think they went 2x2 after a while. This is on my Twitch. I could back it up on YouTube because I had some fun shoutcasting it. You could really just see like you guys were just being super aggressive and they couldn't handle it. And that's kind of how all the matches went.
It was a lot of fun though.
Turbo Sean's capture the flag match did pretty well too. They ended that in like a couple of minutes. It was basically just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, that was nuts. It makes me feel bad. Maybe we practiced too much. Maybe we took it too seriously. It was a lot of fun. And again, it wasn't for anything serious.
No, it was just a good time.
But we are also better gamers, as
of course.
Proof. Anyways, Sean has 2 questions for me. Are you hoping that Mario Kart 9 allows you to turn off items in online races? Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't hate that, I guess.
I mean, you could do that now, right? So yeah.
I wasn't playing Pod Racer thinking, man, if only I could shoot lasers at the cars in front of me. or drop down one of those gravity bombs behind me. That would make this more fun. And then number 2, if by some miracle of miracles Capcom does bring back Power Stone, are you only going to play it if they give you the option to turn items and stage hazards off? Thank you for your time, you joyless heathen. So yeah, we got into an argument because I like to play Smash Bros. Without the items. Jeff, I always say there's always these people who've like played 10 hours total of Smash Brothers coming against people like me who have spent like thousands of hours with it. And it's like, you're playing it the wrong way, actually.
You're not wrong.
It used to be that I admit it used to be us who were obnoxious, like you're playing it wrong, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like the items people are really insecure about it.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, this is all accurate. I still think you're playing it wrong, but you're not wrong about how you're like classifying all this stuff. And at this point, they clearly have made the game work just as well for you as for anyone else. So,
Turbo Sean, you can't mute Benji Pop and delete his messages just because he agrees with me for 300 seconds. Oh my God, you guys are nuts. Do a poll. I mean, it's I.
What is the poll? Items.
I fear Super Smash Brothers items, no items. I fear that everyone's just going to disagree with me as they usually
so wait,
do.
But Power Stone, like you don't take that. Like I guess it was just a matter of like, do you treat it like a real serious fighting game?
No, not really. I don't mind. I don't think I minded the items of Power Stone. I mean, it sadly has been so long since I've gotten to play Power Stone Jet because they just criminally won't make a new one that I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'd be okay though, man. I really wish they'd make Power Stone 3 or at least just put Power Stone 2 on the Switch because that would be super good. Nick Turbo, you can't also time out Benji Pop. That's awful.
Okay, so
don't get in your poll.
What's wrong?
Oh my God!
What's wrong?
With you specify that it's more that with items is fun and without items is without fun.
I don't see the problem. That's
oh my God! Again, all of you voting for with items probably have like played Smash Bros. For 5 rounds and then go back to playing Mario Kart.
People are still voting with their hearts here. I bet. I don't know. This is a Nintendo podcast. I bet there's a lot of people here who do take Smash Brothers very seriously. Although that is like almost a slightly different community than the Nintendo community. Right now, with 49 votes, it's 56-44, so pretty close to even.
Let's see. We'll let that stew for a bit. Let's get to more of these. Jeff's guardian angel bop, who's been disrespected so terribly in chat, says, "Woof woof to my shrimp-eating dogs. People
Woof.
talk so highly about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I finally understand the hype after playing through it for the first time. It deserves all the praise it gets. However, why does no one ever talk about how fucking stupid the final boss in the lava pit is? You have to have pixel perfect jumps on a boss with worse hitboxes than Dark Souls 2. Not to mention the already kind of slippy controls get 10 times worse on ice and the whole last area. I kind of forgot if there's a question there, but I just wanted to vent after beating the game. Thanks." I remember not liking the bosses in that game at all, actually.
So I was paying too much attention to chat of like Nick Turbo going on the warpath here, destroying everyone who disagrees with him. What game?
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's not enough that we already muted Benji Pop and chat for no reason. Now you have to ignore his question.
Well, listen, I want to answer his question. That's why I'm listening. That's why I asked. And he said he didn't have a question, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with that information.
He was complaining about the bosses. You know, Jeff?
Fair enough.
You could just follow the flow and go with it.
Fair enough, yes.
The bosses sucked in that game. I actually was kind of down that game in general, especially compared to most people. I kind of want to play it again now that I finally played through the SNES games and really enjoyed them. Maybe I'd be
probably
more into it. But I still don't think the bosses... They were very... a lot of Donkey Kong Country games were like this, but they're very pattern bosses where it's like, wait for them to do this thing, and after they do their thing, then you can jump and hit them. Now wait for them to do their thing again. That's like, all right.
So if we were to have like a party and have everyone over and we had Super Smash Brothers out,
God.
Would you want it to be 1-on-1, no items, or would you want it to be 4 players?
It could be 4 players. I would not want items on. I would absolutely not
come on, with 4 players, why wouldn't you want items on at that point?
Because it's more fun to fight people with your moves instead of just fighting a person and then like having a heart spawn next to them. So I guess they get all their health back.
Fair enough.
What's fun about that? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, the anything can happenness makes it more fun for a party atmosphere, I would think. But fair enough.
I mean, baseball doesn't have items, but anything
Yeah.
can still happen. Same thing with hockey. Things can still just happen based off of the rules of the game.
Yeah, but if you throw a beer in there, it
Sounds
gets
like
even
Mike
crazier.
is bad at Smash. 1v1 me, Sean. Turn on your precious items even. I don't care. We can go to fucking poker floats. We'll hack it back into the game. I'll still destroy you. It's just way less fun. Hockey has a puck. That's not an item.
That's an item.
The more I'm screaming, the more the poll goes against my favor, of course. It's such bullshit. You're all so wrong. You're all so wrong. You're embarrassing me and us as a community right now. I'll just say it. Next, Reese Elliott says, will you invest in my new fast food franchise, Nintendo Chick O'Phil? We only use premium, free-range, corn-fed Nintendo chickens. Reese Elliott has been obsessed with Nintendo chickens for the last month now, Jeff.
And I'm all here for it. Like a guy.
We have to stop him.
I continue. No, it's too much Gonzo energy. He's Gonzo from the Muppet Babies. Every week he brings it, and I really appreciate it.
Gonzo from the Muppet, not Gonzo from the Muppets. Gonzo
Yeah, sorry, man. It's been all Muppet Babies recently. Gonzo from the Muppets. He does have Camilla on the new Muppet Babies show, but it's not his girlfriend. At least not yet. I don't think.
All right. Next, from Sakelin. Ballin himself offers you a deal. For every hour you play Ballin Wonderworld, you may play an hour of Breath of the Wild too early. How many hours of Ballin would you play? I think I would play as many hours of Ballin as it would take.
Yeah, I think I would too. I'm very into the idea of playing Zelda too early.
That would be like 50 hours of Ballin Wonderworld or something ridiculous.
I mean, playing through the game once is not. I mean, it's not 50 hours, but you could play. You could probably 100%
exactly.
and get
You'd
pretty
have
close.
to replay it.
Yeah.
You have to start. You start that thing start 100%ing it, or I don't know what the hell you do in that game. All right. Next one here from Velocity Prime 1. Hello, dogs. If Jeff and Mike were part of the DK crew, which kind of Kong would they be? Leaky Kong? Ohio Kong. I like how that's his guess. You're Leaky Kong, and I'm Ohio Kong. Let's just go with that. Ohio Kong. Somebody needs to write DK rap verses for Leaky Kong and Ohio Kong now. Maybe I will. That's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna make. How people have first sonas. We're gonna have Kong sonas.
Yeah, everyone should have a Kong sona on our show.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like an NFT hellscape. Mr. Bowler says, "Hey Nintendogs, if F-Zero is becoming the new Mother 3, as Reggie says, what will become the new F-Zero?" Let's see. If they take a while to make that new Pikmin, it could be Pikmin, but I don't think it's actually going to be that long. Star Fox is going to be the new F-Zero because they're not going to make a new one of those for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Star Fox Zero. So yeah, Star Fox is the answer. Vision49 says, "This is Miyamoto. Which Nintendo character are you calling to bust you out of Nintendo jail?" I mean, Jeff's going to call Rusty. And it's going to go very poorly. He's going to try to negotiate our release, and Nintendo's going to say,
"Yeah,
no."
do the sad dog eyes, and Nintendo will be like, "Who are you? Get out of here."
Yeah, I'll call the Minish Cap Link with those digging claw things, so that he can just dig us out of jail.
I'm actually going to call Boshi from Super Mario RPG because he looks like he's dealt with the law. He looks like he's dealt with imprisonment.
I don't think he's. I don't know how much he's going to really want to help us.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, I thought the assumption here would be any of these characters in this fiction we're creating would want to help us, Mike. I thought that was like just an accepted part of the fantasy. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're right. I've never met Boshi, yeah. Mike. You got me. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like how many times a day do you think about Boshi?
Several. Okay. Yeah. Probably on average, probably 0.75. At least every other day, I'm thinking about Boshi.
Oh my god. Okay. Miyamoto. He says, "No, this is Miyamoto. Just wanted you to know that I saw your Halo tournament, and congratulations to the Beef and Cheddar Mata's victory over Windows Central. I know you boys may be a little upset that you didn't sweep them in 4 straight games, but never forget that old saying of mine, a delayed victory is eventually good, while a rushed victory gives you less time to stunt on those hoes. Have a good one, boys. Thank you, Miyamoto-san. I appreciate it." Zipsa says, "Hey guys, what is the most ridiculously, obviously fake news someone has tried to leak to you, which turned out to be true?"
There's too many turns there. I don't know.
That's a lot of truths. I mean, the Mario Musa thing would still be incredible if somehow that's true someday. But
yes, if that turned out,
looking like it.
I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of times, if it's true, you get a pretty good beat on it pretty quickly. So I can't think of any good examples of that.
We'll keep thinking, see if something comes up. Winnie asked, how is it that Nintendo has managed to make so much of its messaging around NSO and Directs seem like an event? The February Direct has 8 million views, while Sony, Hogwarts Showcase has 9 million, feels like a wet turd in progress. Does it boil down to the echo chamber one is in because the numbers and coverage feel disconnected?
So basically, they were asking like, why are Nintendo Directs a big deal and State of Plays less so?
Yeah.
I just think that like Nintendo Directs have been established as something important where anything can happen. State of Plays haven't, and also Sony doesn't need State of Plays the way like Nintendo needs Directs to talk to people. And even Nintendo doesn't need it, but like other publishers need the Nintendo Direct, and so you get big games in there, even sometimes not from Nintendo. And no company needs a State of Play to sell their game.
He is saying, like the Hogwarts Showcase did actually have 9 million views, while in the February Direct had 8 million views, and you would almost expect more on Nintendo there. So I guess I'm not sure what.
Oh well, then
what causes that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Super Harmon asks, at the start of the Indie Direct, they mentioned they had games from all over the world, including from Australia. Both Silk Song and Sports Story being developed in Australia. Besides the fact the Australian game did look charming, was this Nintendo trolling? I don't think Nintendo even knows what trolling is. I don't think they're capable of intentionally trolling.
Right, I think Reggie was a little bit sometimes with like the mother jokes here and there. But
yes, that was like it.
But that's it. Yes, they weren't doing that on purpose.
And Reggie's long gone. One Up versus CPU says, "What's up, classic roast beef boys? June retro collection, buy, rent, bin. Ooh, Sonic Origins, Wonder Boy collection, and the Capcom Fighting collection. We do have some good ones. I will buy Sonic Origins." Rent the Capcom Fighting Collection and bin the Wonder Boy collection. What's in this Wonder Boy collection? I don't know too much about that.
I'll probably bin that. I'll probably buy Capcom Fighting Game Collection and then rent Sonic Origins.
I mean, I like some of the Wonder Boy games fine, but mostly I like Wonder Boy 3, which already just like has its own great standalone remake.
Right.
Like I'm not a giant fan of the like the ones that are like kind of almost auto-scrollery. Like the Adventure Island type ones necessarily.
All right, Rachel.
Like not the good Adventure Island. What?
Rachel in the chat said, "Wait a minute, I have it," and I didn't know what she was talking about.
Oh no!
And then she followed up with her Kong Sona. I'm Honey Kong, and that's spelled HUNIE.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, yeah. So I'm spelling it out for chat. Like our famed and notorious hentai game, Honey Pop.
God damn it! You really are just spelling it out. Well, I'm glad you found your not for Sona, your Kong Sona. I'm glad you found your Kong Sona. Yeah. Jamie H1224 says, probably more suited for games on Friday, but does the PlayStation Plus blog post put more doubt on a supposed June state of play? No, not really, because this PlayStation Plus is coming out soonish, isn't it? They need to say something about it. So
yeah, and it's coming out sooner in Japan, right? So it's like, yeah, they have to get this out here eventually. I don't know. I'm still really back and forth on anything happening in June, but multiple people separately have told me something's happening in early June. So want to give it I want to give it like, a certain percentage chance, even if I'm not fully convinced myself.
And then Jake Bogdanoff says, Jeff, what is your middle name? I feel a strong need to scold you by replying with your full name when you tweet things like Super Moist Peach.
Yeah, Michael. Michael is actually my middle name.
No.
Yes, my middle name is Michael.
Say my name, bitch.
Jeffrey Michael Grubb is my my full name, and my dad was James Michael Grubb, and my brother was Jason Matthew Grubb. So wow. JMG was the whole thing happening there.
Yeah, my middle name is not Jeff. Thank God.
I mean, no, thank God, for real.
Nintendo Bro asks, did either of you two doggos go back to beat the boss rush on Metroid Dread? What was your best time? I haven't. And I should, because I played that game so many times in a row that I did get very good at those boss fights.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, that'd be too much. I'm like, actually, that would be fun, because they're almost like Punch-Out enemies, so that actually could be pretty good.
Like towards the end, I was basically just like the first time I fought that last boss in the game, it like took me so many tries to learn the pattern. Right. Once I learned the pattern, like, I felt like, Goku or whatever, just zipping and zapping, and it was good stuff. Dugan says, what's up, delay dogs? With the recent Microsoft related delays, does Nintendo have an opportunity to sweep up the game mess this summer, especially with everything they presumably have in their back pocket. Again, I don't know because I don't know if it's necessarily going to be an E3 era for big announcements from them necessarily. They
Right.
have a much better schedule for the rest of the year, but it's also kind of known quantities. And I think for a lot of people, not any one of those things is super exciting unless they're a big Pokemon fan. It's not even the Fire Emblem people are that excited about the second Warriors game. Splatoon 3 is pretty exciting, but and that's coming earlier though. And how exciting is it going to be to learn slightly more about Splatoon 3 at E3? We know what Splatoon 3 is going to be. We just want to play it. So I'm not sure who's going to have the quote unquote most exciting E3. It might be there's going to be a little bit here and there. I'm not sure if we're going to look at it and say, wow, this blank company specifically really dominated.
I agree. Yep.
God Rizla says, what's up, dogs? Why do EA seem to have little interest in putting some of their more unique IP on Switch? Things like Dead Space, Alice, Madness Returns, etc. Those would be great games for it, I'm sure. Last minute addition to this, anyone who has not finished Hollow Knight, get it done. I'm nowhere near finished, I don't think, but oh my god, what a fantastic game. Thank you. God, I don't know why I'm thinking it's like I made it. Yeah, I mean, gosh, what is... EA's not putting a lot of their older stuff on Switch, huh?
They're not putting much of anything on the Switch. There was that
really.
That one earnings report where they're like, we're gonna have 7 Switch games in the next year, and like a lot of them were pretty disappointing, pretty small stuff. And then they put out like Burnout Paradise remaster on there and stuff when they were putting it on everything else. My understanding is they don't have many plans to support the Switch, period. I think that while games can do well on the Switch, it's still not going to be, you're not going to be a breakout hit if you're a third party, at least on the level that EA needs to justify it. I think if you are a small game, if you're an indie game, and you put yourself on Switch, you have the chance to break out at a level that'd be very good for you, but it wouldn't make sense for EA. And I think that's just kind of what they continue to look at, and it's not worth it to them. They have other fish to fry that could probably make them more money, I suppose.
Rabbit says, as a follow-up to my previous question, who? What was his previous question? Is it me from last week?
I think he asked why last week, so yes.
Turbo Man says, what up, Nintendogs? What is your favorite Nintendo Power magazine cover or covers? Huh. That's interesting. Like, Jeff, I wasn't the biggest Nintendo Power guy, to be honest. We were both big EGM people, right?
Yes. I like the first one, though. That's Super Mario Brothers 2 claymation thing that they did. I guess it wasn't animated at all, so just clay sculptures. But yeah, that one always stuck out to me for sure.
I like the Power Blade one, where it's just that the guy from Power Blade, the robot, standing on this sci-fi grid, and the boomerang is very intensely in the foreground. The Mega Man 3 one is atrocious. I'm looking at that now. Just wow, that's terrible.
I can't factor this.
Not that. That's incredible. Here, I get to show you. Maybe you might need to show everybody this Mega Man 3 one.
All right, give me a second. I'm pouring water into my kid's cup, so I'll be ready in a second.
Yeah, you do that, because this I didn't know about this. I mean, the Mega Man box art gets some flack. This one's pretty rough here. Wasn't Mega Man 2 the first EGM cover or something like that? Now I think about it.
Yeah, like in like their buyer's guide, that first. Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Okay, you sent it? Did you send it in Discord?
Oh, I sure did.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna show everybody.
Let's you do here. That. They need to see. Oh, there's a Star Trek one not too late either. There's lots of good things in here. There's also some with really weird proportions. This one with just Hulk Hogan is funny. Oh, it's one with just Darkwing Duck. Man, it's pretty fun just going through these. We should just go through these someday.
I think Nextlander's doing their Nintendo Power rankings where they're just ranking the covers of Nintendo Power magazines. So, but yeah, we can steal that.
Do you see this?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, Mike, and I hate it.
What the hell happened?
This is truly upsetting. We'll make this the cover, the album cover for the podcast this week. They look deranged.
This is my favorite video game ever, and look what they've done to it.
Yeah, look how they massacred your boy. This is messed up here. Yeah.
This is horrible. Next up, I need to get... Yeah, here we go. Shrimp Slayer Jeremy G says, Strikers will be fun, but soccer is lame. When will Mario be playing real football? Mario Madden, which Mario character is going to be your starting quarterback? You know, Jeff, there's a time not too long ago where I was like, oh, Nintendo won't touch football because of all the controversies about head injuries. seems like everybody got over that somehow. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't Nickelodeon just have
Yes, they
like
do.
football games now? So I guess that's not a concern anymore. Now they wouldn't do it just because people in Japan don't care about American football that much, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it just wouldn't be worth the effort because it's just one territory.
Mm-hmm. Octo says some people make AMVs, some write fan fiction. I made a Columbo essay. Have you guys ever done any kind of fan creations? Metroid fan art as a kid, erotic Mario fiction. I know Mike had the Monkey Island fan site, but did you make any Monkey Island content? Cheers, guys, and remember, Jim Ryan is a weirdo. He sure is. I used to like making a lot of custom desktop backgrounds for video games. There used to be a lot of sites you could submit those to. I used to submit a lot of those back in the day. I had a game fac. It was really small and shitty about the Game Boy Colors, like mini games. So I think they got rid of it. At one point, I had a published game fac on gamefax.com, which some people just fully pronounce game FAQs. And that always upsets me, Jeff, when I hear that.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. I always, the thing about game facts I always remember is someone talked about they had the game facts open. It was just a big text file, but then their dad came in the room and looked over his shoulder and saw the URL and saw game facts, and they thought the Q was a G, and the dad got really upset. And I'm like, okay, all right, fair enough. That's not great,
Nice.
but yeah. I did I ever make any not really. We would just kind of play we do play stuff like during recess when I was really young. I remember we played like Mega Man and Ninja Gaiden at recess, and then me and my older brothers we would set up pretend punch out sessions and stuff like that where they would be the big enemies and I'd be Little Mac and stuff like that. But that's kind of all we ever did.
All right. Next one here, last one here, actually. Major Arms Blazer. No question, since now I am not sitting around all week waiting for Tuesdays and Fridays. Oh, never mind. But thank you, Major. All right, then. Jeff, do you want to read some of these super chats then?
Yeah, I do. Do you want to do an update on the poll? Have you seen it recently?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, let's end the poll. It's been stuck here for a bit now. So, Super Smash Bros. 57% say with items, 43% say without items. I wish I could just see the average play time of both sides, Jeff. I wish.
Listen, just because I only play it for 5 hours doesn't mean it's not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Exactly, yeah, Jeff, who doesn't even really understand triple jumping, and it's like it's more fun when the items come, and I can. Sometimes I guess
I used to understand it, and now there's so many characters. When I try to play any character that's not Luigi, I'm like
the same.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's still basic, but I'm more broken now these days.
I agree with that.
From Uriel Delgado, look, I'm just saying that there's a timeline where the Halo show was about Chief and the Arbiter, and they had a sex scene. Okay, yeah, I can see that happening.
This timeline still, has that show done yet? Are there still more episodes?
Well, there's a whole nother season coming. Yeah, Turbo Sean, he called it a triple jump. What a weirdo.
You know what I mean? Oh my God, the up B after you double jump for every character.
From Don't Subscribe to Game Pass, our old friend Ghost Sniper is back to say,
who could this be?
Your GT shows you play 0 games, yet you shill Xbox. My gamer tag. Yeah, I mean, I don't play a lot of stuff on my Xbox. I don't think I've ever claimed to do so. I don't know.
It's almost a sign that he doesn't shill Xbox.
Yes, it's exactly. Like on my Nintendo.
Seems like a self-owned.
It's like, you shill Xbox, I say on your Nintendo podcast.
You obviously show Xbox despite the fact that you haven't played any Xbox games lately. I wonder what this could mean.
Yeah. Wow, you're almost there, Sherlock.
Did he like that didn't we say a lot of good things about Sony today? Didn't
he
we
doesn't
say
care.
that their service sounds
That
good?
doesn't matter. That's never going to matter to them. I just got logged out. All right, hang on. Let me see if it's going to...
I thought he would like that, maybe.
Oh, no, he doesn't like anything. All right, Don't Subscribe to Game Pass came back with more L's for Xbox, and then the crying face emoji, and it says no Silent Hills, Final Fantasy, or KOTOR. And, okay, yeah.
Look at all those L's for Xbox. He thrives off it.
Oh, man, my favorite sports team is PlayStation. From Matthias Ali, greetings from Argentina, BNC gang. Not Nintendo related, but I'm building my own DIY arcade cabinet, and I wanted to know what are your must-have and less-known games besides the obvious fighting games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, etc. So, do fighting games or arcade games? Because fighting games, I'm trying to think of like what. Okay, here's an arcade game that if it doesn't have to be fighting, there was an old like first person shooter that had like a 4-unit thing, and you would have like a joystick, and then you basically have like just like fire and shoot and stuff like that. And it was almost seemed like it was made in the Quake engine. I can never remember what it was called, but it was at our GameWorks at the mall, Mike, at Polaris. Or not Polaris, what was the other one? Easton? Yeah, Easton. The Easton.
Yeah,
yes,
Easton. We used to go
GameWorks.
to Easton every time. Yeah, that's the only GameWorks I ever been to, and it was an incredible GameWorks. I remember they had Guitar Freaks. It was before
Yes.
Guitar Hero came out by years. And I was blown away by it. So cool.
The Grid, is that right, Turbo Sean? The Grid, yes.
Grid.
And it was like actually surprisingly fun, and other people would come. It was basically just like a free for all, like not even a team deathmatch, and it was a lot of fun. So try to see if you can emulate that and make that work.
Yeah, if it's just fighting games, really, my favorite fighting games are pretty normie choices, like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like fighting Vipers is really cool. You can like get that. Otherwise, get like Sonic the Fighters. Why the hell not?
Yeah, why not?
But there's beat 'em ups are interesting because there's like these really high quality ones that never got really good ports.
No, I just don't like that they have items.
Well, to be clear, like using items in Streets of Rage 2 is way less fun than just actually beating people up with your
fair,
combos
actually,
and character
yes.
abilities.
That's
So,
true,
hey,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. I just found out that there was a Hook beat 'em up that's completely separate from the Hook games we got on the 16-bit consoles, and it looks really good. So if you're just asking about arcade games, try to get that Hook beat 'em up running because that looks fantastic. Fighters Mega Mix is great, Turbo Sean, but I think that's just a straight up Saturn game. I don't think it was ever an arcade game.
Yeah, that was my problem. All the weird fighting games I played were just the home games, and there wasn't arcade versions. Was there arcade version of War Gods? Get War Gods.
No, get War Gods. Send Hook. All right, what's next?
Yeah, from let's see, D Jones. Is anyone else worried that Mario Strikers will end up like the other Mario's or other Switch Mario games, where most of the content is post launch for some reason? I'm not too worried about it. That's not really the stuff that was hurting those other games. Because the content they released was clearly finished. It was just part of like a way of like padding out the support. But you know, even if that stuff was all on the disc, you still wouldn't have had like a really good online mode for like Mario Golf. Like you wouldn't have had a good tournament mode, which is what that game really needed. So it seems like they're coming out with a lot of characters and a lot of stuff for Battle League or whatever it is, Battle League, and then they're also going to have like a really robust online mode right out the gate. I'm less worried about this one, even with those in the rear view mirror.
Do you think that just because of that stuff in the review mirror, that might end up being the perception anyway? Like if there's like DLC and you have to pay to get Daisy, I feel like people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, probably. Like if that's how it works. But like most of the stuff was just like free things that they dropped later. I don't know how much paid DLC they did. So, but we'll see. We'll see if they pull it off. I think you're right. The perception could still hurt them.
Next.
From Mr. Miracle. How have you not trademarked the term metia, pronounced like media? And then any more info on the Sony event for June?
Well,
no more info.
You just heard the way
Jeff
Jeff struggled to even say the word. So.
Well, I was like media, like, but yeah, it just sounds like media, but it has the word meat in it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, underwear. I get the picture.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna help this kid just for a second, Mike, and then we can get back to the rest of the show.
I'll do that. I thought Jeff told me the kid was sleeping. It was all.
She wakes up, like that happens too. Like she's not gonna go to sleep forever.
Not yet. Yeah, Toad's confirmed, I believe. Beefy, am I right? Toad's in there. Yeah, Toad's in there. Oh, that kid's not happy.
All right, I'll be right back.
I said what I said. Uh, we got that teaser trailer for the Amazon Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I don't know what to think about the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show. I'm setting my expectations incredibly low for it, and then people like end up saying, "Well, it's really good." Even they need to be skeptical because there were people, not everybody, there were people who were like, "Actually, the Halo show is really great," and now even those people are like, "The Halo show's gotten pretty fucking stupid." So even then, I need to be skeptical and careful. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, yeah, sorry. Okay, back. Mike, we have no more super chats.
All right then. Well then, let's get to our topic for this week, Jeff, which is what is the one console you want on NSO the most? We already have NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and the Genesis. There's strong rumors about Game Boy stuff coming eventually. But Jeff, if any console can come to the Switch, which one do you want it to be?
I want Virtual Boy. I think that that's like a really easy one that would show that they're willing to get weird and kind of make the subscription stand apart from like Virtual Console and stuff like that. They've had a lot of consoles in the past on stuff like Virtual Console. With the subscription service, I think they can do stuff where it's like, it would be pretty hard to justify selling these games one by one, but as an additive to the service and putting like all of the Virtual Boy games in here in pretty short order, like that would still be pretty exciting. And there's they're not all great games, but like Mario Tennis is fun in Virtual Boy, and that Wario Land game is actually pretty good. And Tellero Boxer is actually fun. So yeah,
I liked Mario Clash. I don't care what anybody says.
And Mario Clash is fine. Yeah. So I would like to have Virtual Boy on there, and I think that'd be very good.
It's shocking that they didn't when they had the 3DS. I don't know.
That was right. That was just I bet that was just them still being like kind of embarrassed by it, even at that point. Today they could just be like, "Hey, the Switch is this massive success. The Virtual Boy is so far behind us. It's time to just laugh at it."
You're right. It did seem like for a really long time they like were not even able to like they would have had like a little bit of fun with it just recently, even with the Virtual Boy being part of Luigi's Mansion 3, right? And that almost seemed like them finally lightening up a little bit. I went to Sega Saturn. We had that little there's that MVG video about that Cotton game that you can get on the Switch up, and it's just running on a Saturn emulator.
That's right.
It's a difficult system to emulate usually, but there's like seeing that there's hope there. There are a lot of good Saturn games, and so many of them have never really been ported anywhere else new. So the idea of getting this quote unquote more obscure console, but still had a lot of games released on it, and a lot of very good games. Just the stuff from Sega alone, weird stuff like Bug and the Clockwork Knight games, and then incredible stuff like the Panzer Dragoon games. Imagine it launching with all 3 Panzer Dragoon games, including Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is like almost has reached this mythical status amongst JRPG fans because it's just supposed to be so good and it's so hard to get. And stuff like I still want to play, haven't really, like Burning Rangers. There's so much potential with putting Saturn on there. There really are. There's a lot of games you can put on there if you do that. So that would be the one that would really tickle my fancy. But let's see what our community says for this one, Jeff. And our first answer here is from Shrimp Slayer Jeremy G. He says, "Give me the Atari Jaguar," and he includes a poster of Zool 2. Man, I didn't know there was 2 Zools.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that either.
I thought we only had one of those to suffer through. Revan says, "Was there ever software for that PlayStation prototype? Let the people see that nonsense." I don't think there was, Jeff. I don't think the prototype included software, right?
No, I don't think so.
Alex says, "In line with Revan's answer, I always remember hearing about the Nintendo 64 disk drive expansion. I don't know if there's many titles, but I like to see what the Ocarina of Time expansion looked like. I figure out some of that content went into Majora's Mask, but it would still be a neat little preservation and history piece to have available."
It was like the master. It was the Master Quest, right? The Master.
Yeah,
we got that on the GameCube disc when they released all the Zelda games together. They basically put that there.
Yeah,
64DD is a very good call though, because most of those games that have like a lot of Japanese text, so probably wouldn't work very well. But I would love to have like SimCity 64DD just working on the Switch.
Yeah, I also would just put that in Nintendo 64 that we already have. I don't know if it needs like a separate
You're right.
launcher.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
Wildfire Alex says, "I could go for an easy one here, but I'm going to throw this shit for a loop and say that Nintendo needs to get this system on the NES and the NSO, and it's the Wii U." The Switch already has all the Wii U games. He says this is the only way that Nintendo will be able to salvage their cursed time frame of 2012, 2016, and just put every freaking game in the NSO. This way, anyone and everyone will be able to try out whichever title they want. Yes, even Devil's Third, without being forced to rely on that half-baked iPad controller. I know it's a pipe dream, but I firmly believe that this is the only path Nintendo can take after literally losing money on that very console. No, it doesn't matter if some of them are already on the NSO or Switch. This is the best way to redeem the Wii U, in my opinion. Also, this is probably the only way we're ever going to get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch, so let's do it. I think I might be wrong there, that we're going to get those games separately, like everything else.
Yeah, I mean, everything else already has, so it's like now we're just waiting on those.
It's like that, and like the ones that haven't yet. I bet Xenoblade Chronicles X will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Sort like you know how like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 got remade after Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did. I bet after Xenoblade Chronicles 3 they will finally
that's what they move on
remaster
to, right?
X.
Yeah.
Ezosis says Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Why, you ask? What if I told you there was God damn it. There's 18 Looney Tune games available across both systems. The Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle would be a great addition, as with the SP versions of the games they add, they could have the Japanese Mickey Mouse versions of Crazy Castle on there too. The star of the show would no doubt be Bugs Bunny and Lola Bunny Operation Carrot Patch, a classic platformer that is of a type that just isn't made these days, which is a shame. Really makes me miss the days of Infogrames published titles. That's somebody nobody's ever said before. One Up versus CPU says TurboGrafx 16 / PC Engine CD with Castlevania Rondo of Blood, my favorite Castlevania. There's some other Konami / Hudson games I want to play in there too, like Gradius 2, Salamander, New Adventure Island, and the Star Soldier games. Jeff, this would be great and not impossible. We've had TurboGrafx 16 Virtual Console games on the Wii even.
Yes, we've had those for a very, very, very long time. So it almost feels inevitable here. It's almost weird that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it feels inevitable, and yet I don't think it's going to happen for like 3 or 4 more years. It'll happen at some point during the life of the Switch, too. Dr. Turbo says the easy answer is the Game Boy Advance because of its killer library, so I'm going to say the Sega Master System, baby. Give me that sweet licensed action with Asterix, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, but most of all, give me California games and Prince of Persia. Sega Master System would be amazing. That would absolutely rule. I'd be super happy if we got that. And again, it's like, I don't know why, because there's why we wouldn't. There's so many games on there, right. But it's not a very sexy one to put on there. So I bet actually, if they did Sega Master System next, I bet a lot of people would actually complain because they don't know any better, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Velocity Prime 1 says, I know that the emulation is kind of a nightmare and many of the games have lost original code, but I would love for the Saturn to be added. It's the biggest console to have most of its library locked onto the original hardware. Finally release Burning Rangers to the public. I agree, Velocity Prime 1. You're on the right side of history. My side. / Abraham Lincoln. Jamie H1224 says, give me the DS in that either display side-by-side picture-in-picture or top and bottom in Tate mode. What's Tate mode?
I think it's Tate mode. It's Japanese for holding it vertical.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
And then the Switch is already touchscreen, so that solves the bottom screen problem. There's too many good games stuck there due to the 2 screens. Even the Wii U figured it out. Ah, man, I wish. I still think they're gonna have to like make something someday. If we really like, you can get some DS games on the Switch. We've seen them do it with Mega Man XY and the Mega Man Zero collection, but I don't know if there's a one-size-fits-all solution for porting DS games to the Switch, huh?
No, yeah, you would need a lot of like. I was playing a 3DS game on my Steam Deck, and it using EMU Deck, and it sort of just configured it for me where hitting one of the shoulder buttons would just switch the screens immediately, and like that worked really well. But it didn't work for. It's not going to work for every game, and yeah, so it's going to be a pain.
Miyamoto says PlayStation 3 since Sony won't do it, and I still haven't gotten to play Metal Gear Solid 4. Plus, we can finally have Persona 5 on the Switch, and people will stop begging for it. And yes, that includes me. That would be funny. Oh, look, here's one for you. Hosp says Virtual Boy, niche appeal, but exactly the kind of thing Nintendo should be throwing on there, as it won't come back in any other form. You boys have not yet lured me over to the dark side with Nintendo crimes. Look at this good boy. He's waiting for a legitimate way to play Virtual Boy.
What a nerd!
Can a bitch get a donut? It says Game Boy Advance, preferably with some boosting being done to the audio quality. I mean, how much can you boost it? It's just a matter of how many audio tracks and like the instrument tools, right?
Right. I mean, the game or the Analog Pocket has like the boosted audio, and it's just like slightly cleaner,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Honestly, it never has bothered me as much as it seems to bother some people. Like some people are like, oh, the Final Fantasy VI version on Game Boy Advance would be the best if the audio wasn't so like dumbed down. And I know that it is, but unless I had it side by side,
I'll just say that
I
there
can't
are
really
some truly classic tracks from Game Boy games, and there's not many true classic tracks from Game Boy Advance games. Like there's a lot of great music on Game Boy,
That's
and there's
true.
just not a lot of great music on Game Boy Advance.
That's true. Benchy says, I have to see Retro Arc. I feel like it would add a whole new breath of life to NSO and have tons of great games. Well,
Yeah, not wrong.
Diogo RP says, put the Intellivision Amico in there. We got some comedians in here today,
we do.
Jeff. Muted and ignored Bob says GameCube because I can emulate the Game Boy on my phone or my totally legal 3DS and totally legal Switch, no problem. However, I cannot or have trouble emulating the GameCube on those devices, so I'd rather have Nintendo do all the hard work for me. It is funny how I still just don't expect them to ever put GameCube on there. Like again,
Right.
It's a very old console. It's only slightly newer than the Nintendo 64, which is on there, and it just still feels like Nintendo would never.
Yep. I mean, no one's even bringing it up because we're all just assuming they would never do it.
Turbo Sean says it's unlikely to happen soon, considering the remaster potential in the state of Nerds emulator on the Nintendo current Switch. But GameCube games would add a ton of value to NSO expansion pack. Realistically, they could toss on games that wouldn't be brought back in any other way, like Double Dash, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, and 1,000 Year Doors, and Star Fox Assault in 4K because reasons. This is the guy who's yelling at me about items in Smash Brothers.
He's just horny for Crystal.
Yes, I know. That's why. Oh, that's why he needs items in Smash Brothers, because Crystal's a trophy assist.
Okay,
That's
we
why.
solved it. We solved the man.
That's why he likes. That's why he can't even think about not playing with items. Okay, I figured it out. All right, well, that's just a sickness. I can't be mad at him for that.
I know. I'm almost...
Oh no, did we upset the child?
No, she just says she wants to tell me about fun stuff that's happening. We can keep going.
It's not that fun. This is more fun.
I
It's what
keep trying to tell her.
It's what Pot Not Doc said. If Nintendo is paying Sega a ton for the Genesis, then how about the Saturn and Dreamcast? I know this is a stretch because that would mean Sega would have to acknowledge that they made consoles after 1994, and we'd probably only get 32X for the 5 people still alive who own that. I'm alive and I had a 32X, damn it. Actually 32X would be kind of sweet. There's some good 32X games. What is 32X emulation like these days? Is it?
I know it's fine.
Than
It
Genesis?
works. It works in just like every Genesis emulator. Just runs
That's
32X.
what I thought.
Turbo Sean, what have you done? She keeps asking me about Crystal now.
Your kid does.
Yeah, because I said Crystal. She's like, "Who's this Crystal?"
Who is this? No, she's not allowed.
Not
to know.
allowed. Not allowed.
Yeah, we have to protect her.
Yes, protect the children.
Tink says, I want the 2 to 3 really good Virtual Boy games on there. The sweet Red and Black Wario Land needs to be available to everyone. We'll get that. We'll get Jack Bros. And what was the other one you said was really good?
Teleroboxer.
Yeah, there was the first one you said besides Wario Land.
The Mario Tennis.
That's it, Mario Tennis. Resale, it says the Nintendo Game Boy bath shower film and water game, of course. Okay. Low Rule says, I just want the Satellaview games, mainly the Zelda ones. They could somehow bring those games to the online service without the time restrictions. That would be a huge win. I bet that's like the last thing Nintendo does before I die is release those, whenever that might be. So it happens someday, but not anytime soon.
Right.
Well,
They're
maybe
going to wait. They're going to wait.
Cat Guy Neko says, I really think GameCube is old enough now for it to be considered. It is. The library is fantastic, of course, but the biggest problem is the price of its games these days. They can get ridiculously expensive. So it would be really nice to have a lot of those titles available on NSO. Yeah, retro games have gone up in general, but like the GameCube nostalgia train has hit really hard, which is why
Switch, Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack 2 is going to cost $5,000.
Do you think Nintendo's like aware of this like boost in popularity for the GameCube? Like it's kind of GameCube's time. Do you think they know that?
I don't know how much they know that. They probably know something, but not really.
The Longest Spirit says another vote for GameCube. GameCube seems to be the most popular answer here, Jeff. So many classic games, though some of the best are licensed games that might be hard to pin down. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, The Hobbit, Simpsons Hit and Run. Still plenty of great games. It's the Hobbit game. I remember the Hobbit game was like anticipated, and then it came out. People were kind of disappointed.
It
People
just had
like that
nothing to
game
do
now.
with the movie. Like it's such an aggressive way that it's because it like legally it had to be legally distinct. So
Yeah, but we knew that going into it. I don't think that's why people were disappointed.
yeah, I guess maybe not. Like I assume that's because I never played it. I was disappointed with the concept.
It's just like you thinking that everybody hates Fallout 4 because it was too similar to Fallout 3.
Okay, not everyone. I no longer think everyone hates it because of that.
Just
but
Greg Miller, who also today
just-
said that the medium is better than Resident Evil Village.
I never said that these are smart people. But there's definitely a lot of people who've said that many times. What are we talking about? What was the original thing?
Actually, he says GameCube. He says GameCube, even though it can't get licensed games. I actually just found my copy of Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, and part of me is like, man, maybe I'll play Lord of the Rings: The Third Age.
That's fun.
I think I need to get one of those HDMI adapters for my GameCube so I can like stream a GameCube on original hardware. That'd be fun. Jayton says, I want the Switch itself to be on NSO. Give me Switch Game Pass or at least longer trials than a week to play some games. Okay, I get you. Mr. Baller says, my heart says GameCube because it had a lot of great games, but my head tells me that Nintendo would just sell those games as remasters and not bother putting them on NSO. So I'll go up the Neo Geo as something that could actually happen. The Neo Geo could actually happen, and it would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd get like Neo Geo and TurboGrafx at the same time or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, the game consoles you wish you owned when you were 10 collection.
Right, exactly.
Pablo Casas, both the GameCube and Game Boy Advance are the popular answer, but maybe Nintendo's doing a Nintendo and adding the Wander Swan color next. And you know what? That'd be a cool addition. I would actually, like, I always heard about the Wander Swan as a kid, and I knew they had some kind of, like, Final Fantasy remakes on there or something,
right.
But I knew very little about it aside from that. So I would like to see.
Yeah, there was the Neo
Wonder
Geo
Swan
Pocket Color and the Wonder Swan, and was there anything else?
Well, they've already separately ported a lot of the big Neo Geo Pocket Color games to Switch. Like that's
right.
Already happened. Oddly enough, you said that buy in piecemeal. Crangis McBasketball said Game Boy Advance is probably the most glaring omission at the moment. I'd say GameCube, but let's be real, Nintendo is going to put those games out for $60, and suckers like us will pay for them. Oh, I'll pay for it. Turbo Madden says, it's pretty simple. I'd want the Game Boy / Game Boy Color library to be added to NSO. All I really want is the first 3 Wario Lands to be added alongside Donkey Kong 94, and I'll be a happy camper. I will also be happy. Tyler James Bay says, give me Game Boy, and yes, that implies Game Boy Color, just like I play Pokemon trading card game. There's a game. There is a game. Man, I wonder if they're going to make a new one of those ever. Turbo Gigi 64 says, is it possible to get the R Zone by Tiger Electronics on NSO? More people should suffer playing those games, but I don't think the Switch can properly emulate this. Oh my god. The R Zone with that weird, like, the weird visor. Is like,
yes,
like
that's what I'm... Yes, the weird visor, yes.
Yeah, the weird sci-fi single screen, like,
over 9,000,
eye.
Yeah.
What a thing. Chara Blaze says, I wonder if he did this because of... Chara Blaze always been a person. This is because I said I pronounced Charizard as Charizard at some point. I even just did it here. I said Chara Blaze, not Chara Blaze.
Well, I mean, like, char, like, that's the thing they're going for, right? Because it's charring...
Chair.
Chair. Is that what
Char
you said?
is right.
Char is right.
Wrong.
Yes, okay, yes, okay,
I
yes.
can't get... Chara Blaze said Wonder Swan so I can get some more Tate mode flip grip action. I'm learning words today, Jeff. I didn't know that Tate was what we called that vertical.
There's a lot of games on Switch that support Tate mode because you could just play it on the side and it works really well. Yeah.
And you got I have a flip grip. I never used it yet, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. If you had a flip grip, then yeah, that's what it's called.
I should know.
Yeah.
Donnie Dewalt says CDI give us the 3 Zelda games, cowards. We say everything happens eventually, Jeff.
That will never happen.
You don't think even let's say me and you are 70. It's something like we're in our, weird.
Okay, if we're in 70 and some Gen Zer is like the president of Nintendo and like they're aware of, like they do it as a joke, right? They put it out as like a joke, like it's in future cereal boxes or whatever. Like, yeah.
I think maybe someday they might just be like, yeah, like you all know this is a joke and we're not like going to sell a lot, like charge people a lot of money for this. But yeah, here's those 3 games. Why not? Emulation's so easy in the year 2050. Who cares? Jake Bogdanoff says, GameCube, Skies of Arcadia Legends, please. Nintendo Bros says, I'd love to see the Dreamcast get added. I know Sega has re-released several of those games, but it would be cool to get them in NSO as well. I'd love to have Soul Calibur, Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, Seaman, Ikaruga, San Francisco Rush 2049. There you go. And so on, available to me through my NSO subscription. Jeff, I know I said the Saturn. I like the Dreamcast even more. It would maybe even be more excited about the Dreamcast getting thrown on there.
Yeah.
But God, I just don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I just feel like that would take a little bit extra money than what Nintendo's willing to pay, because I think Sega knows they could command a little bit higher of a price.
Mm-hmm. Dugan says, jumping in to say that the amount of Game Gear erasure from this group is unacceptable. Clearly, the Steam Deck borrowed a lot from this handheld, like directly competing with a popular Nintendo handheld with global appeal. Also, they both were seemingly named by smashing two semi-related nouns together. That's the best way to name consoles, actually.
Absolutely.
Dreamcast. If we get GameCube, if we get Game Boy / Game Boy Advance, we should get Game Gear. Yeah, but like most of the time, the Sega Master games are just Game Gear games with better resolution. So
right,
I maybe would rather have Sega Master System than Game Gear. God Rosa says, just bring on the madness and give us Virtual Boy and make it require the Labo for use. Make it require the Labo. Nick Turbo says the Leapster from Leapfrog. That must have Kalinske must have been involved with that, right? Didn't he go to Leapfrog after Sega?
Was he? Yeah, he was after Sega, wasn't it? Yeah. So Tom Kalinske, I think, was at Leapfrog at that time. Yes.
Maybe he made this atrocity.
Yes.
Gerbear says Mega CD, also called Sega CD in countries who like giving things bad names. I have to be honest here. I don't play much of the NSO offerings. Just load something up for a few minutes out of curiosity and then go back to something modern. Because of that, I want a bucket load of weird shit on NSO, and that's what Mega CD is for. Give me that bad FB nonsense. Man, that'd be awesome, but they are definitely just going to release the few marketable games separately. Like, didn't Night Trap already
Night Trap's already on Switch. Yep.
And we're getting Sonic CD and the Sonic Origins collection. So then, like, what is marketable anymore? Snatcher, which probably has like better PC ports that would also just get re-released separately.
Right.
As much as I want Sewer Shark, I don't know how much other people want Sewer Shark.
Yeah, maybe they could go to like the 3DO CD games and get like adult nighttime golf, where there's just a lady in underwear playing golf and stuff. Yeah,
I know no one said 3DO, but 3DO would rule. They got 3DO.
There's some good 3DO. Yeah, there's that D&D game would be good. Yeah,
there's D&D. There's the original, The Need for Speed, not Need for Speed, The Need for Speed. Right. It has a great Road Rash port. On some other weird things. When he says everything has been said at least twice, I'm going to go and advocate for the inclusion and preservation of Tiger Electronics.
That could just be a collection. They could just release a collection for like $25 of every Tiger Electronics game and just emulate what they would have been like. Yeah.
Okie W. There must be. I think there's sites that do actually quote unquote emulate.
Sure.
Probably not even. They're probably just rebuilt Tiger Electronic games. Okie W says, I want the Satellaview games. We never had the chance to play them, and a lot of it is lost media. That's the second one for Satellaview. And then Octo says, put the Dreamcast VMU on Switch. The VMU specifically.
Yes, Jeff. Just the VMU. I guess, if you're going to put Dreamcast on Switch, you might as well also put the VMU. That'd be great.
I see Chad is excited when I said 3DO because Gex is on 3DO. Yeah. That's true. That is true. All right, Jeff, that is it. Do we have some more super chats to read here before we just talk about what
we might?
Playing?
Let me take a look here. I believe this one from Ryan White is the new one. Do you think developers ever release a game with the intent on winning any game awards, or do they just plan on the money they can make? I mean, listen, most of the decision-making process involves how much money they're making back. Sometimes, occasionally, a publisher definitely seems intent on winning a game award.
Yeah, I remember Warren Spector kind of famously said, I don't make a game unless I think it's going to be game of the year, right? Like,
right, that sort of thing.
Too, when he said that. So I don't know, but I think mostly it's just, you go out, you do your best, and then
and
so much of that is out of your control.
Yes, and a lot of these companies have people like dedicated to raising the profile of the games, and sometimes they're like, well, let's make an effort to win game of the year, like the Game Awards. So that stuff does happen, but it's not. Most of the time, I bet developers are not thinking about that. Paulie G here, he says, what I want most is a new 2D Castlevania. I forget what topic we were talking about at that time, but I remember seeing that go by and that being relevant to what we were talking about.
That's what I want.
But
hey, what I want too.
We all want that. That is it. That does it for the super chats, though.
Next week's topic, by the way, we were talking about Nintendo's transitions from one console to the next. And we talked about it before, but let's just get it. Everybody on the record. What would you name the successor to the Switch? We're all going to do our names. I'm sure nobody's going to use this.
Can everyone say Switch 2?
I mean, you could say Switch 2.
Okay. I feel like it'd be more fun if we told you can't say Switch 2.
Well, no, they can say it.
Okay, all right,
Jeff,
no, this-
you know who we're talking to. You think everyone here is afraid of saying the most popular answer? They're gonna have
good
to.
point. Good point. You're right. Never mind.
I'll say Switch too. I'll be the loser.
All right.
No, I think it's something even more. I'll try to come up with something like GameCube or Dreamcast where I do just shove two nouns together. Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say like my answer. I'll just save it. I'll save it for next week.
All right, Jeff. What else what have you been playing? I suppose I don't know. I said what else.
Yeah, I started playing SnowRunner on my Steam Deck, which I guess is also on Switch. So yeah, I started playing that again. But yeah, I'm like playing that on Steam Deck and it runs at like 60 frames per second and stuff like that. I haven't played it on Switch. I do wonder like what that port is like. I suppose other people have probably tried it. But like even at 30 frames per second, that game is still fun. And then yeah, I'm trying to like I feel like I got my Switch out and like played some old NSO games, but I think I was just like messing around. I think I played like through most of Punch Out again. And that's kind of what I did this week. So how about you?
Yeah, I've been doing the NSO thing also, but I've started up Shining Force 2 on the Genesis NSO stuff there, which has been on my to-do list for a while. One of the few like big Genesis games I've never played, so finally kind of making my way through that. It's a strategy RPG. It's fun. It's a bit basic-y, right? Like even like Fire Emblem has like the weapon triangle thing, right? This doesn't have that. At least so far, it is pretty much just send people on a grid and attack the other people and make sure they don't attack you too much. And there's magic spells and healing, but aside from that, not a ton of complexity. And I'm not. I know there's a unit promotion system, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. So still getting there. It does suffer like a lot of 16-bit RPGs from this. These bad translations where things are being translated very literally, but also in a like first grade reading level. So things read very simply and awkwardly. And like they're afraid to use any words that have more than 2 syllables. Like Phantasy Star 4, which is a very good JRPG on Switch, also big time had that problem where it just reads clunky. So and it kind of takes you out of it sometimes. But you kind of almost expect it with the 16-bit games.
Was there a Shining Force on Saturn? Because I feel like that's when
a Shining Force.
I feel like that's when I first became aware of it, and like had like a lot of enemies or a lot of units on screen at one time and stuff like that. And I'm like, I always want to try it, and I never did.
Well, the one with 2 of them is Dragon Force. That's the one that's like has a zillion people on screen, and that's the game that needs to be on NSO. Shining Force, I think there are 2 Saturn games, but we only got one of them. It was like a part 2 thing or something like that. We only got 2 of them, maybe. Yeah, there's Shining Force 3, and Shining Force 3 is interesting because it is like 3D models. Well, it's 2D sprites, and then when they fight, it's 3D character models, so on. So people liked it actually. Now I'm looking at the reviews for it, but I never played. Like this is the first Shining Force I've actually ever played. So there you go. But I'm enjoying it, and I want to play more of it. And yeah, we're gonna keep going with that one for a bit. So here we go. There were 3 parts for Shining Force 3, but 2 of them were only released in Japan. So we only ever got basically the first part of Shining Force 3 on the Saturn. So I'm assuming somebody's translated those at least for people who are really interested in that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing is I'm going to play through Shining Force 2 finally and see that one through to the end, and that I can feel better about eventually doing my best Genesis games ever list, right? I'm trying to play a lot of like the big retro games I haven't played before, because I do at some point want to do like videos like that, right? Everybody does those videos. We're gonna make game mess videos like this. Yeah,
we should. I mean, the people like it. I like it. Mike, how many Sonic games are going to be on your best Genesis games list of all time?
Well, I would do it. So I would do it where. So I guess how can I describe this? Like I wouldn't do
as you Sonic would a child. Explain it to me as you would a child.
As you would a child, Jim Allen. God, what a good line. Yeah, I wouldn't do multiple games in the same series unless they're completely different. So I wouldn't do like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. But let's say Sonic Spinball was a much better game, even though I defend Sonic Spinball, but I would do like Sonic 2 and Sonic Spinball.
Okay.
Right.
All right, fair enough.
That's what I think the rules are.
All right, I'm hitting the button, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. We did it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Last of the Nintendogs. We'll be back on Friday with Games Beat the Sides. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch at TollCoat So, Jeff, I'm going to my brother's house tonight. We're going to make Disney World cocktails for our next Disney 90s.
Oh, that's
Disney
right. I remember you guys
episode.
teasing this. That's fun.
Yeah, I got a bunch of weird cocktail ingredients for my drink, so it's gonna be. A good
That's
time.
exciting.
I'll
definitely,
post some pictures.
Yeah, I'll definitely be listening to that. I'm excited. Maybe I'll make one. Whatever you guys decide is the best one, maybe I'll make that. I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter, Jeff Grubb on Twitch. It's gonna be shaky trying to stream, although every time we've been streaming recently, a lot of you've been showing up. It's been very, very awesome. So if I'm not streaming, make sure you check out Mike's stuff. But when I get settled in the new place, a lot more streaming, although E3 will be happening as well, so gotta figure this stuff out. But yeah, we'll have Games Beat the Sides on Friday. Please turn out for that, and then yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
It's a blast.